Hello and welcome to another Yakuza 3 trophy guide video. In this video we're going to talk about the Substories Chapter 4. This is going to be part 5 of those Substories. Chapter 4 is one of the longest chapters for Substories, so covering them all. So we'll start with Under the Table, then we'll move on to Early Honeymoon, then we'll move on to Morning Glory Hide and Seek, and then we'll do the 3 dog sets of tricks that you can learn when you get the dog at Morning Glory. So we'll start off with Under the Table. So for Under the Table it says save before you do this. Enter Aqua Sky and you'll see a dude clearly in his cups, which means he's drunk as hell. Very drunk guy. I actually did this first time, but if you want the highest prize money, it's 50 grand, so it's up to you if you want to do that. If you lose, you pay 20 grand instead. So speak to the drunken man in Aqua Sky and he'll challenge you to a drinking game. Make sure you're sober for this, so don't drink before you start. Then accept. The game you'll play is Look the Other Way, where you'll have to look away from where he points. Unfortunately, the game is entirely RNG, completely random. So this is why you save first. If you win 3 times in a row, you get the 50 grand. If you lose, you pay 20 grand. Regardless of the outcome, you'll get the legendary drinker of Ryuku. And yeah, as I said, I did this first time, so never had a problem with it, but you might not be so lucky. So make sure you save beforehand. Moving on to the next one, we've got Early Honeymoon, and I get the feeling that this one was the one with that bizarre couple. Oh my god, they were the worst. So for this one, the trigger in the actual mission is kind of difficult. It's not difficult, but it's more annoying than the other ones that just appear. So it has to be daytime, number 1. Number 2, you have to have Haruka with you. And number 3, Kiryu must be in his suit for this to trigger. So, this is to say that the window for this sub-story is near the end of Chapter 4. So you'd have to do most parts of Chapter 4 before you get to this. I think it's before you meet Mac. So yeah. After Kiryu changes back into his suit and you say goodbye to everyone, that's the exact time you need to be doing this. Fortunately, the trigger to hit this is pretty easy. So once you've done those stipulations, it's pretty easy. Walk out to the beach opposite Morning Glory, and you'll see Akimoto and Mizuki, who have featured in Yakuza 1 and 2. And they are like a hopeless couple. Truly bizarre what's going on with him. He always threatens to like kill himself, and it's just a mess really. But as Kiryu brings up, they have a habit of meeting when Akimoto is about to kill himself for some reason. There you go. The two are apparently now engaged and on vacation. After you talk to them, they'll leave and head down to the public market. So follow them to the public market, go upstairs, find them in the food court eating. So you'll listen to a little conversation there. Follow them then to the stone market, and they'll have a conversation there. The jewellery shop near the intersection of Ryukyu and Kitaryu. It's like the main intersection. They'll take off again. So you go back to the beach, speak to Koji, who's one of the kids, and he'll mention the couple agree to check on them, and here we go again. The classic story unfolds. Even though it's such a bizarre sub-quest, it is actually quite entertaining. But yeah, choose the following dialogue choices as required. So she probably wanted to help the old lady. She probably couldn't say no to her mom. That's honourable of her. And she's going to be a great wife. She must really want kids with you. You actually do get quite a bit of experience from this quest, so it is definitely worth going for. And it continues on into further chapters. I think it culminates in chapter 10. Not 100% sure on that, but it is later on. But yeah, absolutely. Choose those choices. Get that done. Interesting quest. Rather strange, but entertaining nonetheless. Then you've got Morning Glory Hide and Seek. So this is another one that'll trigger later in chapter 4 after you finish the baseball event. So there's a scene on the beach with you play baseball with the kids. After that, you'll be able to trigger the side quest. So tell Haruka you're not ready to go yet, and you choose to explore alone. You'll find your kids in their playroom complaining about how bored they are. Speak to them and they'll challenge you to hide and seek. Now while there's no reward for this, in order to get the star completion on it, you must find Izumi, the littlest girl, last. So the youngest kid, you want to find her last. So first things first, Taichi is on the roof. Use first person view, look up from the yard to spot him. You'll see it in the video. Shiro is behind the lumber pile. Eri is under the table out in the yard, the sort of outside dinner table. And Izumi is behind the baseball target practice area in the netting. So that is the end of that sort of sub-story. It's a pretty easy one, it's a quick one, it's not too bad, it's just the trigger. You might miss it if you didn't know when it was. So the next 3 in a row, I'll just do them all together, are when you get the dog after the missions. So the dog eventually comes back to the Morning Glory with you. So it's again late in chapter 4. So you learn 3 new tricks. You have to do, like, talk to the quest giver, who's Izumi, 3 times for these 3 quests. So we'll start with the first one. New dog, new trick, sit. So you teach the dog to sit. Pretty common. So this can only be accessed after you complete Morning Glory Hide and Seek, which means it must be done late in chapter 4, after you finish the baseball event, and Haruka cannot be with you. Izumi and Mame are out in the yard, so speak to her and she'll tell you she's trying to get Mame to sit. Mame's the dog. Basically, when you tell him to sit, make sure he actually does it, then give him the treat. So you get 2 options basically, like give him a treat and then try again or something. So if he doesn't do what you tell him to do, don't give him the treat. If he does do what you tell him to do, give him the treat. It's pretty RNG, but it happens pretty quickly usually, as far as I'm aware. The next trick is turn around. So you go back after you complete that story, so speak to Izumi again, and now the command is turn around. So if he turns around, which means if he walks in like a circle on the spot, or turns around, give him the treat if he does it. If not, you know, give him a good ass kicking until he does it. But now he will do it eventually, so keep at it. It's basically RNG. The last trick is fetch. So fetch is where he runs off and grabs, you know, a stick or whatever. And so yeah, teach it. It's the same exact thing. So speak to Izumi again, and she'll ask you to teach it fetch. Give him the treat if he's successful, and you'll get a stamina and spark as a reward, and that's all the dog tricks you need for that particular situation. So that's it for this video, and thank you very much for watching, and take care, peace out, I'll see you next time.